Bring your own guitar, old buddy. Bring your old guitar. We'll talk and drink and laugh and sing, but bring your own guitar.
Welcome to the Harmony Channel, and welcome to the first episode of BYOG, or should I say Jason and Jeffrey BYOG, Bring Your Own Guitar. I'm here with my partner in crime, Jeffery Steele. Jeffrey.
Jason, how are you?
We've been planning on doing this for, feels like a year.
It's been a minute, yeah.
It took me a while to get the studio all the way together. What do you think?
Which looks amazing. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I've been really looking forward to this. And I had something to ask you about.
Yeah. I got something to ask you too, but go ahead.
Well, this is like the beginning of spring here in Nashville.
Yes.
Trees are blooming. Everything just looks beautiful right now. I drove out from the country today, and I was skeet shooting today. Have you ever done any skeet shooting?
I have not done any skeet shooting.
What do you think about skeet shooting? You want to come out and shoot some skeet with me?
Of course. Of course. You know who would love for me to do that is Tiffany. She's a big hunter, my sister.
Yeah.
And she keeps, I got an AR-15 and a few other utensils around here, but I don't know if they work for skeet shooting.
Well, it's shotgun. It's all shotguns and just so we got these
the birds are
we got these auto shooters that shoot them up in the air, and we just sit there and try not to shoot each other and shoot the skeet. No, but it's pretty fun.
And so that's not like, those aren't real birds. We're not killing anything.
No, it's just clay. It's just clays. It's like it's just sporting clays, and nobody gets hurt. It's a good time, and but I'd never done it before, and man, I had to look at my watch a couple times. I go, man, I got to get out of here. I gotta go see Jason.
You're a California kid.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm a Indianapolis Midwest boy. We used to go bowling, Jeff.
We did.
knock down bowling pins. You're knocking down clay pitches.
We played a lot of sports, but I never really, I grew up in Southern California, so I never had a need to really shoot a gun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I fished a lot as a kid, but I never really shot a gun. But since I moved to Tennessee, it's become quite a passion now to own a gun. And
it's kind of like my passion for music moving here to Nashville. And that's what BYOG is about, music, and Jeffrey teaching me about music. Jeffrey, obviously one of the greatest songwriters in country music history and tremendous performer. You guys have seen him on the Fearless Show with me before. But BYOG is, me and Jeffrey inviting over guys that we think write and perform great music that speaks to our souls, speaks to what's going on in the country right now. We want fearless artists.
And you said something once, too, about how the music shapes the culture, good and bad.
Yes.
And it's so true. And I'm always waving that flag to people going, the music is so important, how it reflects whatever generation we're in that's coming up, whichever they choose. It's a huge factor. It's a huge factor how the road will go.
And so we got our first young guys here. That Jeffrey's already met them. This is my first time meeting them.
These are good guys.
Putting these guys in a conversation with a guy that writes courageous music, great music, soulful music that celebrates God. And I know these guys, the Duggar Band.
The Duggar
Seth
Band.
And Jordan Duggar. Or
Seth and Jordan are here. Good to see you guys.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome to BYOG.
Thank you.
Great to have you guys. You guys are the ideal first guest because, one, you got a song that's making noise, True Colors. But two, I just love your background. East Tennessee, Greenville, Tennessee, 15,000 people in a small town.
Yep.
And you got this music dream. You're singing in the church. Your dad's a pastor. And next thing you know, I don't know how old you guys are, but you got a song, True Colors, that speaks to your beliefs and speaks to the beliefs, I think, of a lot of us in America that, shocked everybody. John Rich helps you guys out and shocks everybody. So tell us a little bit about True Colors and what the inspiration was, and just how shocked are you all with the success and the reception?
Right. Well,
always wanted to put out a great patriotic song. There's been so many that have been put out, especially in country music, throughout time, and we always had hoped that we could write something that would stack up with those. And we were introduced to a couple guys through a mutual friend in a co-writing session back probably August or September of last year. And we had no idea, because it was our first time meeting these guys, but one of the guys had served in Afghanistan. And the other guy had an idea, because when you get together in writing sessions, you kind of, each person pitches out a few ideas and decide what you're going to write. And the other guy had an idea of a patriotic song. And we're like, well, this is a perfect opportunity to write a patriotic song, because we have somebody that actually served in the military. We can get their viewpoint on this. You know, our great-granddad served in World War II. He went on to Normandy Beach like the day after the big invasion. And he was alive until I was in college. And so I got to have a lot of conversations with him, and got to hear a lot of the stories. And, man, a lot of the things that happened, you know, that many years ago affected him his entire life. I saw the things that he went through. He lost a lot of his buddies over there. And, man, just the people that serve this country and have sacrificed so much for this country mean a lot to us. And it was the perfect storm getting together with these guys and writing this song. As soon as we finished it, we sent the work tape, which was very rough. I don't know if that'll ever, hopefully that never sees the light of day. But I told Seth, I was like, man, you know, we've got to send this to John. And we went back and forth, because we were like, this doesn't sound great, because, you know, work tape, you're still learning the song and everything. I was like, we've got the message of this song is important. I was like, we've got to send it to John, see what he thinks. Sent it to him. Within like 10 minutes, he hit us back, said, I love this song. Let's talk about it. And so we ended up talking about the song. He agreed to produce it for us. We went in the studio towards the end of last year to record it. And we ended up releasing it at the end of January. And we started our media tour. You know, for an artist at our level, it's not that grand. But we started hitting as many media outlets as we could, trying to promote the song. And one of our scheduled appearances was here in Nashville, a television station here in Nashville. And around 36 hours before the performance, which we had a whole band scheduled to come in and play early in the morning, which is tough for us musicians to get up and do those early shows.
Early.
I always said I didn't even know there were 2 8 o'clocks.
Right, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
that's the time we were supposed to be there, so it was already going to be a struggle for us. And we had all the guys coming in; they were excited about it. And then we were actually back in East Tennessee playing cornhole with our family, because we try to be home on Mondays as much as we can and see our family.
Hold for 1 second. Black guy alert. Cornhole. Go ahead and define that for me.
So that's when you
cornhole, man. Where I'm from, that sounds like something.
You could say it's a hillbilly game, but it's not. It's a game that most people around the country play, like at barbecue joints or. Right. It's like if you're sitting outdoor at a restaurant, they have these little
anything like dominoes.
It's like it's catching on, man. You put these boards like 30 feet apart or so, and you take these bean bags,
like bean bags,
and you
throw them and try to get them in a hole.
Some people call it bags. Here in Tennessee,
I've never heard of bags. So. Yeah, I've seen and actually have played cornhole. There's a little private airport that I used to use that had the cornhole, but I didn't know it was called cornhole. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
don't let my stupidity.
And it may have another name, but that
kind
of morphed into that.
Jeff, I had to tell these guys I didn't discover Adele until 8 years ago, so I got blind spots.
I got a few blind spots.
That's how you call it in East Tennessee.
So this, you mentioned the channel. Mm-hmm. Now, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, they called me. They were doing this thing again. It was like 6 a.m. because when they first start their air, which is unheard of to me. It's usually when I get home, but they called me up to come and sing the national anthem.
Who did?
This network.
Oh, this same network.
Yeah, it's like 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was a while ago.
Right. Yeah.
And they had this little series where they would have artists come in or songwriters come in and sing the national anthem to kick off, the broadcast day. And sometimes they'd rebroadcast it at night when they went off the air. So I found it fascinating when you told me
Right.
that they wouldn't let you sing it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to me how much it's changed in the last 5, 6, or 7 years.
Right. We received that email while we were playing cornhole with our family, and they had said that our song was too politically biased to perform on the network, and so we needed to choose a different song, that we were still invited to play, but we needed to choose a different song. And we're in the middle of playing cornhole, just trying to relax. We're like, this ain't right. And so we already knew that we weren't going to do it. And then we called our buddy John Rich, and kind of the rest is history after that.
You know what he's going to say.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Whose idea between the two of you all, or who did most of the writing, or 50-50, what?
Yeah, so there was a 4-person write that day. And so, like he was saying, we kind of met these. This is the first time we met these guys. So it was set
Was
up
it
through,
here in Nashville?
It was, yeah. Set up through NSAI, and Jill hooked us up with these two guys, and we just went in the room. And you probably experienced this, but we'd never really experienced going in and writing with somebody we'd never met before. Yeah. Typically, we were out with our friends and that sort of thing. But we walked in the room, and just the first hour and a half, we just kind of got to know each other and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Found out the guy was from that he had served in Afghanistan, and so. And we came up with the idea to write a patriotic song, and we all 4 kind of pitched in, and it was just one of those things, like God just let it kind of happen. And it was one of those things, the melodies just started flowing, the words just kind of came out, and it was just like, man, this is just feeling good. Because sometimes, you hit stumbling blocks in writing, and you get writer's block, and you kind of can't.
Or you can get real nervous and
right.
really not go down the road you really want to go down.
Right.
It's hard to flush that out, especially the first time.
And especially, a song like this, because we've always wanted to write a patriotic song, but we wanted to write something that we could be proud of. And you didn't want it to be hokey. You didn't want to have a patriotic
did you
song.
Just say something to be proud of?
Yeah, that's right.
I wrote that. I'm just saying.
Do we owe you a royalty for saying that?
5 cents. Well, actually, it's only a penny now. So
we'll take care of it.
Getting lower and lower. No, but go ahead. I do it.
Yeah, no, we wanted to write something. If it's going to be patriotic, you want it to be something that is a good song, because you write some songs just like this one didn't go over too well, so we never really took a stab at it. But this one, it just seemed like God just gave it to us, and it just flowed really well. And like Jordan said, we were really happy with it at the end, and sent it to John, and he really liked it, and we asked him to produce it, and he did, and just kind of went from there. But yeah, that day was just. It was odd for us because we'd never met these guys, and but
what were their names?
Jesse Felder and Chris Crepeau.
Cool.
So they were great, and it was an awesome thing. And they were texting us a couple weeks ago whenever all this stuff was happening, and we were just in a text group with each other, like, "Did you see this? Did you see that? Yep. Look at this. What's going on, man?" It's just been such a whirlwind, and we're so humbled and just.
That's the same. Like when Neil Thrasher wrote "Try That in a Small Town."
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first day when the media started going crazy on Jason Aldean.
Yeah.
I just got my phone out and I texted Neil and I said, "You're going in the Hall of Fame with this one." Bad press is good press, and when something like that happens, right? Yeah.
That's true.
So when you moved inside, hey, we're going to go do country music, was it always with the thought of, hey, we're going to do some patriotic music? Because a lot of people know that, hey, in this era, if you go that route, if you go the Jason Aldean route, the John Rich route, the Aaron Lewis route, there's some places where you're not going to be touched, and then there's also a big audience that's going to love you. Mm-hmm. But had you guys thought that through and said, nah, I got to answer to my dad. We grew up in the church. We can deal with a little persecution.
Right. Yeah. Well, you mentioned our dad, his family sang Southern gospel music, and so when we were kids, we got to see them traveling around in a bus, smelling the diesel, and that's kind of where that seed was planted. And we started dragging pots and pans out of our parents' cabinets and made our first drum set, and we got to see them performing. And our dad, at his high school graduation, man, there was
at his high school graduation,
at his high school graduation in the 80s. Lee Greenwood's song "God Bless USA."
Stop! Oh, he just made me feel so old. When my dad graduated in 1967, I would have felt real good. Now I'm sitting here. Hold on, your dad's younger than me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Cut that out. We can cut that out.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
But Lee Greenwood's song "God Bless USA" had just come out. And his graduation, it was like in a 7,000 or 8,000 seat auditorium. And
Went to a big high school.
The music teacher asked him to sing it at their graduation. And so he sang it, and of course everybody loved it. And when he was traveling around with his family, they would sing that song a lot at their concerts. And so we grew up hearing him sing that song, and we just saw how people reacted to that and how proud people were of this country and how thankful they were that God has blessed this country. And I think that kind of planted that in us, like, hey, you know, one day we want to write a song that could be somewhere in the same atmosphere as that. It's an amazing song and means so much to so many people. And so, you know, I think when it came time for that, like, we never saw being proud to be from the USA as being controversial. And we've traveled to a lot of places. I like other countries. There's some great other countries, but there's no place to me like the USA. I love coming home. I love coming back to Tennessee. I love traveling. We've been to almost every state, which is, it's cool to see, but there's nothing to me like Tennessee. And so, you know, to be able to stand up and say, I'm proud to be from America, I didn't think that too many people would disagree with that statement. And so, you know, we just kind of took the stance that if that's controversial to say that, then I guess we're controversial because we're going to say it. We know how many people have sacrificed for us to have the freedoms that we have in this country to even get out and sing country music. And so if we can just going to sing a song about being a patriot, then that's the least that we can do compared to what so many other people have done for this country. And we're proud to do it.
Man, and that's another thing. Like, we write music that speaks to who we are. And like, if you write music that you don't relate to, I feel like you can't really get into it, and it kind of makes you a fraud. Like, you know, I don't want to write something that's not true to me. And so growing up, I mean, what was important to us? Faith, family, freedom, like that. Those were the three things that were the most important in our life. And, you know, if you have God and your family, but then this country, that's what makes, in my opinion, at least, that's what makes country music. And so that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cornerstones. The common man, blue collar.
Right.
That's another thing too. When I was driving into town, when I was coming up here today, driving in from the country on a 2-lane road, I've seen you see a lot of, obviously you see a lot of Trump flags and it's a whole nother, like, it's obviously a whole nother mindset when you're out in the country, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the life that people are living. I mean, people are riding their tractors, they're feeding their chickens. I mean, They're still living in the real world, but somebody's doing that work, and they appreciate those themes and commonalities in the music. And I just don't understand why people are always trying to beat them over the head to make them not like it anymore.
Well, Jeff,
Help me, Jason.
Well, this is what's happened to me, and I don't know what's happened to you. I'm 57. Mm-hmm. I know you're
you're bragging now.
Yeah, a year or two older than me. But what has happened to me is, I promise you, I look at those people and go, they got it right. What was I doing living in these cities on top of each other, around people that don't share my values, when I could have a little space and neighbors that own guns and didn't think I was crazy for liking the American flag? They actually cook healthier food and grow their own. And it's like, as I get older, I'm like, those people are saying I'm the insane person.
They're not forcing what they do on anybody.
Yes.
They're just living how they live. And that's what fascinates me. You know, as I'm driving and going, it's just amazing to see this and just go, why do they want these people to all have to change into something that they're not? And that's where we are. It's kind of where we are in society right now. And the fact that you guys are doing this is it's huge. And it's obviously not your only thing you do, and it's not your only sound. You're doing all kinds of songs. I know we talked before the show about, what's the name of the song that...
Lonely by Myself.
Yeah, there's a ballad they have that is it's an amazing song. Thanks, really love that song.
Really appreciate it.
But I think when it's real and it comes up, you got to write it and you got to put it out, and stand behind it. You know, if especially like you said, if it's your lifestyle, it's the way you grew up. You're representing.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We represent where we came from.
That's right. Yeah, the last line of the first verse of True Colors says, "The best part about the land of the free is if you don't like it, you're free to leave." And I mean, that's so true. That's the great thing about the United States, is if you don't like this place, you
Well,
can
there's
get
been
out.
a lot of people complain and say they were going to leave. I'm like, where are you going to go?
Yeah, what's
And
better?
they haven't left yet.
Where is a better place?
Didn't
than-
Rosie O'Donnell leave? And she?
I don't. Did
Ireland?
she actually leave?
I think she went to
Now,
Ireland.
Courtney
right?
Love's leaving now too.
Ellen DeGeneres left. That was a plus. That was addition by
Yeah,
subtraction.
that was a bonus.
She,
Yeah, the new one. Courtney Love's a new one, and then Nancy Wilson from the group Heart. Remember Heart?
Vaguely.
Barracuda and Magic Man, and you don't remember that? Oh, well, I'm a little older than you.
and dude, I'm playing catch up on everything.
I know.
I was doing music wrong. I was telling these guys downstairs how wrong I've been doing music.
Well, Nancy Wilson said from People magazine that this is the worst time right now to be an American. What do you think of that?
Man,
Absolutely not. I'm excited about our future.
Yeah.
And
I bet you she's vaxxed and boosted. And she's probably
she is.
dealing with complications. I'm unvaxxed, and so
So, they had this huge song called Magic Man, which was kind of. Have you guys ever heard this song?
I don't think so.
He's a magic man. Yeah. Anyway, it's a song about a younger girl being seduced by an older, wealthy man.
I know that story. Go ahead.
Point being, they're obviously pointing their fingers at the president, and it all becomes so ironic. Like that's the biggest hit of their career was a song called Magic Man, and now they're coming after Trump. The very one the song is kind of what they're trying to point their finger at that he is.
Yeah.
And I just say bye, but I'll pay the ticket.
Now, I don't want to because we didn't talk about these guys brought guitars. Is that a fiddle?
It's a fiddle.
That
Yeah,
is
they brought a fiddle. Jeff brought a harmonica, and I haven't talked. But are these guys going to sing any music while they're here?
That's why they're singing for their supper.
Oh,
That's right.
good.
Got some good barbecue out there.
Is there? Are they lonely? What are we singing? Or
Can you do one?
we can do one.
Do one? Yeah.
Should we hear the new one that's out right now?
Let's do a warm up. Let's hear something to just get, and then we'll go back to talking a little bit.
All right.
All right.
Sounds
let's
good.
let these guys set up, and then we'll hear some music.
All right.
Yeah.
Too bad it's not a half step lower. I could have played harmonica on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's an E flat.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Does this look all right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Just keep in mind we need you.
I'm so old now. I have to tune down a half
You guys
step.
don't connect as
Do what
well.
now?
I tuned down a half step because I'm older now, so I don't want to have to work as hard to hit those
Most
high
people
notes.
I know tune down a half step. I guess I need
Yeah.
to start at some point.
At some point,
That'll help me out a little bit. Have to sing
So
some
the
high.
harmonica's tuned to.
well, you can get them in. They're all in half
keys,
step,
yeah.
chromatic
I got
keys, so you can get them in any key.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, I have a great Leonard Skinner story. I'd love to share with you sometime. You got any Skinner up there? Sweet Home Alabama.
I do got Leonard Skinner up there. Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama. All right. So I wrote a song for the Leonard Skinner guys called "Help Somebody" years ago. Help somebody if you can. It was a big country hit for them.
This
It's
should
like,
probably be on camera.
should we tape it? Oh.
Oh, we're still going.
Are we
Keep
rolling?
going, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote this big song. It was a big hit for them called "Help Somebody If You Can," and I actually have it tattooed on my arm there. Help somebody.
That song
Help somebody
is
if you can.
tattooed on your arm.
It was
Probably
what
a mistake.
was the guy's name that played on Utah
You've written
Jazz?
bigger
Carl Malone.
songs. You've bitten bigger, so you should have. Is Rascal Flatts tatted on your rear end or something?
On my toes.
On his lower back.
I got a tramp stamp. That says Rascal Flatts.
Bend over. Rest the flats.
So it's a funny story. So I wrote the song, becomes a big hit, and I get this random phone call from Johnny Van Zant. He's the lead singer. He's Ronnie Van Zant's brother. He's the lead singer for Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, Jeffrey, it's Johnny." Big, really loud voice like that. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just sitting here." He goes, "You want to go on tour with Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers?" I was like, "Yeah." So I got to be the opening act for Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers. I was going out all over the country every night. They wouldn't let me ride the bus. I had to follow in my car.
Are you kidding?
They only paid me $500 a night. I couldn't ride the bus. But one night, after about 8 or 9 shows, one night Gary Rossington, waving at me. And they're playing the song "Call Me the Breeze," you know the oh yeah, they call me the breeze, blues song, you know.
Yep.
I keep blowing down the road, and Gary's looking and he's giving me the wave. He's doing this to me, and I'm like, I'm looking behind me, he sees behind me, and the roadie goes, "No, he wants you to go out there and play your harmonica." I was like, "He wants me to go out and play with Leonard Skinner?" It's like Wayne's World at that point, and so I get my harmonica out of my back pocket, and I said, "What key are they in?" He goes, "They're in the key of D." And I go, "Oh yes." Because it was the only harp that I had was a D.
Oh, wow.
And so I run out there on stage. It was I never forget the first night that I did it. It was Tampa, and it was sold out. Tampa Stadium where the Buccaneers play. And I start playing a solo, playing my heart out in front of those people. And the roadie didn't tell me that Leonard Skinner tunes their guitars down a half a step to D flat. So I was playing in D natural.
Oh, God.
So you know the RCA Victor dog with the tilted head? That's what the whole crowd looked like. They all had their heads tilted because it was so out of key. It sounded horrifying.
Like the worst, probably.
Yeah.
Being
It was
a half step off
step.
is about the worst.
It's the worst thing that could possibly happen to a musician, to be a half step out of the key that they're singing in. And so I walked off the stage and I said, "Dude, you told me they were in the key of D." He goes, "I forgot to tell you they tune their guitars down a step." And then, of course, I get off the tour like 4 months later, and a fan that came to see me was so excited that I got to play with him. She sent me this picture, and it's the picture of me playing the harmonica out of. Oh my God. The one picture she sent was
Just getting
me
into
playing
it.
out of tune.
Getting into it.
But that's part of the business, you know.
Yep.
That's part of what makes it so fun. And,
Yeah, live shows, man.
we talk about that a lot. Every time I see him, it's the first thing we talk about now.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we about to sing here? What are we going to hear?
This is the one, right?
True Colors?
This is our song,
True
True Colors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
I see you looking down while I'm looking up. You're just sitting there sipping on that Starbucks cup, hating on everything, not doing anything. I crank up some Toby Keith, climb back in my truck, and it don't matter where the chips may fall. That Statue of Liberty will be standing tall. The best part about the land of the free is if you don't like it, you're free to leave. But I ain't leaving it. I'm an 8th generation God-fearing blue collar with a flag waving, and I don't wait for the 4th of July. It's year-round, lifelong American pride, and right here, right now, drawing the line. If this country ain't something you can stand behind, then that's the difference between me and you. 'Cause my true colors are red, white, and blue. Yeah, my pappy served in the Second World War. I ain't ever given up all that he fought for. And if you're coming near aiming to take what we got, we gonna fight, fight, fight. Go on and take your shot, but I ain't leaving here. I'm an 8th generation God-fearing blue collar with a flag waving, and I don't wait for the 4th of July. It's year-round, lifelong American pride, and right here, right now, drawing the line. If this country ain't something you can stand behind, then that's the difference between me and you. 'Cause my true colors are red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. God bless the U.S. of A. I ain't leaving here. I'm an 8th generation God-fearing blue collar with a flag waving, and I don't wait for the 4th of July. It's year-round, lifelong American pride. Right here, right now, drawing the line. If this country ain't something you can stand behind, then that's the difference between me and you. 'Cause my true colors are red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue.
Come on.
Thank y'all.
Thanks,
That
man.
was awesome.
Thanks so much.
That was
Appreciate
awesome.
that. Thank you.
These guys can sing. You know, they don't.
pretty good, right?
Just sitting here in my house, in my upstairs studio, no auto tune, no nothing. Just
Nothing.
letting it rip.
Hey,
Hey,
just-
thanks,
Wow.
man. Thank you.
Pure and real. Sounds great,
Man,
man.
that was awesome. That
Thank
was
you.
awesome. And so we know that Jordan's the oldest. What's the age disparity here? How old are you guys?
3.5 years. Yeah.
3.5 years. Jordan's the oldest. In what ways, Seth, you go first. In what ways are you guys alike? And then Jordan, you say, in what ways are you guys different?
All right.
Because there's clear as day, like just the hairstyles alone. There is some difference. There is some difference.
Oh,
So,
man.
in what ways are you guys alike? And in what ways are you guys different?
Man, there's so many. I've never really thought about it. We like the same kind of food. That's a big
Which
one.
is?
Man, love Mexican. Had Mexican last night. Japanese food, hibachi. We both love that. And
You
yeah, there's
guys
all
do
kinds
any cooking or yourselves?
I do a lot of eating. You know, I've cooked a little bit, but you know, life on the road, you eat out quite a bit. So
What'd you eat growing up? What's your mom's? What's the best thing she cooks?
Man, she fixes a mean Thanksgiving meal. I love Thanksgiving. Growing up, man, it's still the same because we still go back to our parents' house for Thanksgiving
Yeah,
and
that's
everything.
awesome.
But man, she can cook.
And salmon patties. We had a bunch of that.
Yeah, a bunch of those. Corn
Salmon
pudding.
patties?
Salmon
yeah.
patties.
Holy cow! That was my mother could do that real
Yeah.
well.
Really?
Yeah. I've had,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're my family's from Kentucky on my mother's side, so we know how to cook. Obviously, I know. How
See,
to
yeah, you know, I got a lot of shake and bake chicken. I didn't get that. My mom. Do you remember that? Are
Oh
you?
yeah, I remember shaking.
Yeah.
We had TV dinners, a lot of
Yeah,
smart
yeah,
TV dinners,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah. So man, food. I don't know. There's several ways.
Both
that we're
into
alike.
sports.
Yeah, we both love sports.
favorite.
Well, whenever we were, actually, that's kind of what got started us into music. So Jordan's 3.5 years older than me, and it's about his sophomore year of high school. I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and it was going into his sophomore year, and he was wanting to play basketball in college, and so he was really working hard at it. He'd always get me out there to play him and you know, do stuff with basketball, and I was really into football. I wanted to go to the NFL, and I knew I'd never make it. I don't have the size really for it, but I really wanted to whenever I was growing up. So I really I was a defensive end, and always got Pee Wee football.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to get to the quarterback. That's what I wanted to do, and so we were into that. And his sophomore year, going into it, he was at a basketball camp in Florida at Florida State, and he was having a really good game, stealing it from the dude, and like. He was playing on the varsity squad at going into his sophomore year, and he's having a really good game. The guy got mad at him after he stole the ball like 6 or 7 times, and he was kicking her tail, and he just went up for a layup. Dude pushes him from the back, and it was one of those goals that sit on the floor.
no.
And so when he came down, his leg came into the corner of it, and it just shattered his leg.
Oh, no.
And so back then, ESPN was taped; it wasn't live, and so. He got bored because he's up for the whole
Be
summer.
the
with
same
his-
episode
Yeah.
8 times in a row.
Yeah.
yeah. And so he would watch it, and then that's all he could do. But whenever we were kids, Mom and Dad had gotten Jordan a guitar, acoustic guitar, and they'd gotten me a fiddle. My cousin Matt played fiddle, and I wanted to be like my cousin Matt. He also was a defensive end, and so in college and stuff, and so I wanted to be like him. And so he pulled out the guitar and started playing around on it. Fell in love with it, and he started playing like 13, 14 hours a day, listening to Merle Haggard records.
Like your guitar player in your band does.
Yeah. So
Still
that summer,
does, yeah.
that summer, just going crazy.
I had a question on his question. Like did the sports put a competitive bug in you in the music business? Because I know for me, I played a lot of baseball, and I became one-track minded. It was almost like music was a sport to me, where when I figured out what I could do, it was like, I wanted to win. I wanted to win that. I wanted to win that. I wanted to figure out what that was and how to get it. Does that
Yeah, man.
play with you guys at all? The
Like,
sports part of it?
Going into cornhole with our family.
Yeah.
That's super
Cornhole
competitive.
again. We're,
Yeah, I mean, I think as men, just naturally we're competitors, and like,
Yeah.
I want to win at anything I
Yeah,
do.
right,
So
right.
It translates to cornhole now. It was in football, and then of course in music.
well, and the reason why I asked is because with the controversy of the song, that could be a real, for a lot of people, it can be a real, it can be a bad thing for their career where they,
right.
it messes them up and then they don't
That's
know
what
what
their
to,
confidence.
yeah, and that's what you were talking about, like whether or not they want to
Sports
do that
build-
anymore because
Getting knocked down in sports teaches you, I just got to get back up.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you got to stand true to who you are, and I think for that, I mean, in any good game, there's a little controversy or there's a back and
Exactly.
forth where it looks like you're
Exactly.
getting beat down.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that way when we got that email. I was like, man, we just got hit, and so for us, like, we're not trying to pick fights with people.
Yeah.
But if a bully comes at us, I'm going to hit back. And so
course you
that's
are,
kind of
yeah.
how we felt it
course.
was. It was an attack on not only us, our song, but also just everything we stood for. And I was like, man, I'm not going to stand for this. Like, we're going to stand up to this. And if that means not getting promotion, if that means us getting knocked down some pecking order that we're not next in line for whatever, then so be it. Like, it's not worth it to us.
Yeah,
for
I
that.
have a random question for maybe for you too. Like, what if the song that they had out was a anti-American song? Do you think they would have got the same phone call from the TV station?
No. And they wouldn't be sitting here talking to us either. We would have canceled them. So we're just as bad as the TV station.
See, it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense that you're in a country where you're allowed to do these things. You can do anything you want, whether it's good or bad. But you obviously have to pay the price if it's bad. But you can do anything you want, and you want to represent how amazing that is, and you're getting shot down for it. It blows my mind. It's
Yeah,
baffling.
it's still
baffling times.
It's still wild for us.
Yeah.
But, it's just, leading up to that with him and guitar, and I saw him, I wanted to play fiddle, and so we started practicing for 10, 12 hours a day, and we'd come home from school that fall and go straight into the room, and I'd play Brad Paisley records, and Justin Williamson's a great fiddle player. I've never met him, but I've learned all of his fiddle stuff on Brad's records, and he's what taught me to play the fiddle. So Justin,
You guys
Can I-
self-taught?
Yeah.
Self-taught?
Yes, sir.
Just pick, and so you can do that? Because I got 3 guitars here, and I don't get any better, and I play with them.
I can show you a couple chords. I do it real easy.
Yeah.
I can show you some tricks.
Yeah, I can't sing, but I do want to,
I have a couple hacks. I can show you a couple hacks.
awesome.
I have another dumb songwriting question. It's not dumb, but like, so moving forward from here, like whatever this does or doesn't do because of what they're doing to you,
right.
do you file that in the back of your brain somewhere the next time you get into a room with somebody, and are you trying to find another way, hopefully, to hit that target again without purposefully trying to do it? Like, you want it to be a natural song, right? But do you think now did it light that fire to maybe,
I think, of course, yeah.
Because I had talked to Charlie Daniels about this a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And when he wrote Devil Went Down to Georgia, and he was always trying to figure out a new way to hit it again.
Right.
And he did. He actually did a couple times in his career, a couple other times. But
Yeah, I think, of course, you've had this experience with a lot of different artists and having hit songs with so many people. And I think sometimes you don't really know what song's going to hit and what song is going to be something that people connect with. And we've talked a lot to our buddy John Rich about that. He's like, you can think it's a hit all day long. You can leave the room thinking it's a hit. You can go out of the studio thinking it's a hit.
Absolutely.
And you don't know if it's a hit until the people hear it, and they let you know if it's a hit. Sometimes it could be a song that you think might not be a hit, and then it is. And we've heard so many artists say, be sure that everything you put out, you're okay with singing for the next 40 to 50 years.
Possibly for the rest of your career.
Because
And it may
you don't
define your
really
career.
know what's going to connect. And, this has connected with people. And the messages we've gotten, man, we've received thousands and thousands of messages about this song and just what it means to people, from people who's serving, just people who have family that's served, or just people who's proud to be Americans.
Absolutely.
And, I I definitely, if we're known as the guys that stand up for the USA, then there's a lot worse things to be known for.
Exactly.
And so we definitely
That's
would be happy to lean into that. And who knows, man? Maybe you can help us out with some ideas.
You
on
know
that.
I will.
We'd love
That's
to-
my job.
Love to learn from you too.
That's
so.
my job.
Literally, I'm sitting as y'all were having that. I was just thinking about what are the ideas that are true to these guys.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of how my brain.
And I was sitting, working together as a family.
Yeah.
Because that feeling is starting to overtake, I think America in terms of just the importance of family.
Right.
That's how we got in all this chaos, because we de-emphasize family, and you guys can sing to that, the importance of family and, two brothers working together. And Jordan said, just a side comment, he's like, man, I wish we had more brothers. It's been a lot easier to find a drummer.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be your brother, whether you like it or
Right,
not.
right.
Yeah.
And so that's like me and my brother. We've had ups and downs, but we've always been brothers. And at the end of the day, we got each other's back.
Right,
Come
that's
hell or
right.
high. And I'm sure, we got each other's back. Maybe your next great song.
Yeah, that's great, man. And it's so great going through any industry, I'm sure, but especially the music industry, having each other, because there are so many ups and downs in the music industry. You can go from one day feeling like you're right on the verge of something huge, and then the next day you're like, what in the world has happened? And it's just those ups and downs, and it's so unexpected. And thankfully, having each other, we're able to help keep each other grounded. Our parents and our extended family has been so important to us. They've always supported what we do. We can always lean on them, and we're so thankful for that. But man, family is so important to us, and it's awesome having both of us. I mean, one, there's twice the amount of people to do all the work. There's a lot that goes into this.
Sure.
But yeah, man, we did a lot of shows when we first moved to town as a 3-piece band, just us and the drummer. And so we started out playing on Broadway, and we went and did an audition at Tootsie's on a Saturday. He called us. We weren't living in Nashville yet, and they called us on our way back to Greenville and said, hey, we like you guys. We'd love for you to play here. And we're like, that's awesome. Like, when's that going to be? We're expecting a couple weeks down the road. They were like, can you come in tomorrow?
Oh,
we were like,
that's so good.
Wait, what? Because we were supposed to be playing, at our parents'
it.
church the next
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, well, we can't do tomorrow. And they were like, well, how's next week look? And then we were just thrown into it. And when you're new playing on those circuits, if somebody's sick, if somebody can't make a show, you're the call. And they call you, and you got to be ready. It's like you're on call, and you got to be ready. I mean, we'd receive a call many times at 4 o'clock and say, hey, can you be here at 6?
It's like being a standby actor in a play.
And then you say, okay, well, me and Seth can be there at 6, but we got to get at least a drummer there. And so we ended up having about 30 names, and we had them ranked. This is our number 1 call down through number 30. And if we got real desperate, we start texting other musicians. We're like, hey, man, we need a drummer at 6. Can you find us somebody? And so, yeah, definitely having another brother would have helped. And to answer your question about our differences, recently I started growing out my hair. I don't know. We had pretty similar hairstyles for a while. And then I guess about a year ago, I started letting it grow out, and just, I got tired of getting haircuts all the time. I was like, I'll just see what happens. And I always loved wearing a cowboy hat when I was younger, but when we started playing country music, I never wore one. And I was like, my hair was having a bad hair day one day, and I was like, I'm just going to throw a cowboy hat on. I went out, and I was like, hey, this actually feels right, I'm going to keep doing it. And, now we've had a song blow up, so I think that I'll probably have to stick with this for a little while at least. But our dad looked at us, and he was like, yeah, it's cool how Seth is kind of like clean cut. And he couldn't find the way to say it to me. He didn't mean anything bad by it, but he's like, Jordan, you're just kind of rough looking. And I think people can connect with
Hank
that.
Jr. and Gary LaVox. It's like this whole,
And
you got a whole big swath covered there, man.
So that's one difference. I think another difference for us, and I learned this yesterday because I was talking to you guys before. I was taking tags off this shirt because we've had so many interviews over the past few weeks, and we didn't want all of a sudden we're wearing the same shirt and all these, same jacket, whatever. And so we're like, we need to get some more clothes. And so I was at the store, and I called Seth and said, hey, man, they got these shirts, pretty good deal right here. Do you want to get some of them? And he's always the person that's like, I don't have anything to wear. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I need to just get more clothes because we're going to need them at some point. And one big difference is he is not a plaid guy. I'm a plaid guy. I love plaid. I was like, what do you think about these plaid shirts? I can't wear them. And I was like, well, I just got 8 plaid shirts at this store for a great deal, and you're getting nothing because you're too picky and you can't wear a plaid. And
No offense to people that like plaid. I don't like it.
yeah,
for
so
me. I don't know.
that's one difference in us, but we're pretty similar. I think our personalities complement each other. I think we just have a great relationship, and like you said, even if we have a little bit of an argument, it's like you can't leave or I can't leave. We're brothers, so we're in this for the long haul, and we may give each other a hard time, but if somebody gives one of us a hard time, they're not allowed to be the one doing that. That's just us.
Yep.
But our extended family on our mom and dad's side, family is so important. They get together often, and you just can't break that bond. And it's just so important to us.
And you need it too when you're out there playing 200, 300 shows a year.
Right.
It's so good to have it. It's so good to have it really is.
Yeah,
It
man.
truly is.
Yeah, you experience
Hey,
those highs and
hey,
lows
what's
together.
I played a show there not too long ago in Greenville.
Really?
It's a very historic town. Right? I played it. It's a famous. I stayed at a famous hotel.
Okay.
Nathaniel Green, Continental Army.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if they knew what it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name, Nathaniel Green.
George Washington and him were real tight.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a museum there.
I was
It's a
trying to
really
remember.
historic
I played a
town.
show right near that. There's an old post office historic district down there downtown,
okay.
and it was right there. It was right. That
Yeah,
hotel.
Andrew Johnson actually lived in.
Well.
He was from Greenville, Tennessee. So we have a president from the little small town of Greenville, which is
Yeah,
pretty,
that's right. That's
pretty
right.
cool.
That
Yeah.
area, Jeff, very abolitionist.
Yeah,
They were ahead of the curve.
they were ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Have you now I'm about to go down. There's a guy named Sean, the songwriter I was asking you and Matt Swanson about. Sean Camp. Yeah. Have you?
Do you know Sean?
No, sir.
He wrote a song about Andrew Johnson and John Wilkes Booth. I don't know if you've ever, if you guys have ever heard this, but there's a conspiracy theory. These conspiracy theories go way back.
Yeah.
That Andrew Johnson was in on the assassination of Lincoln.
Of Lincoln.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I've heard
that
that.
Andrew that John Wilkes Booth didn't get killed. Andrew Johnson, these guys took care of the guy, died of old age. Wow. But Sean Camp has written an incredible
It's an amazing
song.
song.
It's one of the most incredible songs I've ever heard. But and then I got a friend who's part of that. His family comes from the Andrew, or maybe it's his wife's side. It comes from Andrew Johnson's family and all that. But yeah,
What do they think about the song?
Actually, I heard Sean Kemp sing the song to the guy whose family is with, and they had a long.
Where
big
was that
discussion.
at? Where?
We were
That's
out,
controversial.
Yeah,
Seems
we're
like.
out in California, but I heard we had this we flew private, and they had this long conversation about it going out there, and then I heard the guy sing the song. It's one of the most incredible songs I've ever heard.
And Sean is be a great hookup for them too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
love
he's
that
one of
song.
Nashville's. He's not the regular kind of songwriter. He's just got a very deep mind, and he's one of my favorite musicians
Yeah.
too. He's
That's cool.
yeah. He played with what was the name of the band? The bluegrass band, the Steel Drivers,
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
with Chris Stapleton and
Yeah.
Wow.
and all those guys that were playing over at the
Is it Station Inn?
Station Inn.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
blanket out there. I can't believe the station is still there in the middle of the gulch. It's like the last original building there.
Yeah, it's like the Alamo just hanging in.
Yeah, it really is, and it looks like it. It looks like
Right.
it's so out of
Jeff,
character.
I gotta want to be careful here because Jeff's spiritual journey is pretty intense. But can you go all the way back to, let's say, 20 years ago when you were out rocking and rolling? What do you? Two brothers in the music industry, out singing, on the road. Is it being out there with your brother? And I'm going back to old rock and roll, bit more
So
secular.
are they back in my day, or am I like right here now with them now in this day?
I want an evaluation
Okay.
on would it be good to have your brother as a wingman?
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
what if they have the same taste? And that was kind of my question about these differences. Do you guys like the same kind of ladies, or is the taste a little different? Do the same ladies come after both of you, or is there a different style?
It's actually, that's pretty funny you say that, because sometimes, and I don't know whether to take this as a compliment or as a diss, but there've been times, and I think we do have kind of a similar taste in women, but there would be somebody come and talk to me, or vice versa, and maybe I wasn't feeling it, and I was like, I don't, or whatever, or maybe I was already talking to somebody, whatever. Then they immediately go to him, just without skipping a step, and I'm like, we're brothers. We're not the same person.
We look similar.
We're different. There are some differences here. And I was like,
at that point, it's called you're in a band.
And I give Seth a hard time because he plays the fiddle, but he started playing bass because we didn't have a bass player, and I was like, we need a bass player.
Well, Jordan was the older brother, and so he told me, he said he played guitar, lead guitar.
Yeah.
And when we were traveling, we traveled doing Christian music, and a long time ago when we first started with our dad, and so we came off the road. He started a church, and the band that we had kind of went back to their church because it wasn't full-time evangelism anymore. So it went down to Jordan on guitar, me on fiddle, and our uncle was the drummer. And so Jordan came to me, and he was like, hey, we can't have a band with a guitar, a fiddle, and a drummer. And he said, we got to have a bass.
Gotta have a bass.
And I ain't quitting playing guitar, so you do it.
Right. So we bought a bass. It came in on like a Tuesday, and Sunday he played it. There was just 3 songs in the world that he knew.
Yep.
It's the greatest instrument. I'm a bass player too.
Yep.
And so it's just funny you say that, it's just somebody in the band. I saw something the other day. And so when Seth's playing fiddle, our cousin is on the road with us, and we've been playing music together our whole lives. Like since he introduced us to Brad Paisley. He's like, you got to hear this. And we made these videos in his apartment of us playing music and just
make an appearance.
Have been together. But when Seth switches to play fiddle, or if he just doesn't want to have an instrument for a song, our cousin is the bass player.
Right.
And I mean, he's an incredible bass player. And we saw this thing the other day where this girl was saying that she was writing this letter about how she made this huge mistake, that she had hit on somebody that she would, thought was an important part of the band, and it was just the bass player. We sent it to my cousin, and I gave Seth a hard time about it. It was like, I thought it was, like the singer, and it was the bass player.
I will never make that mistake again in my life.
Yeah, and it was a little more to that whole post, but it was hilarious, man. And we just gave our cousin a hard time about that because you can't have a band without a bass player, but sometimes they're just in the background, maybe more so.
Hold
on
for a
certain
second. I
bands.
mean, this is educational. For
It is, right? Yeah.
BYOG is important.
Yeah.
So the bass player, that's low man on the totem pole.
But it's the most important gig.
Right.
It's the
the
most
foundation.
important gig on that stage. The drummer's is only as good as the bass player is.
That's right.
Because the groove is the bass player's. The bass player's making it do the thing. Drummer's just he's grooving it, but the bass player's making it move and swank. And
Who's Jimmy Page? Did he play the bass?
he played guitar. He was Who played bass for Zeppelin?
I don't know.
There you go. Nobody ever knows. John Paul Jones. And he also played all the keyboard parts and Kashmir and all those songs. He was genius. He was a genius musician. And they always are. Paul McCartney, Sting, you look,
But you listen to music, but you feel the bass.
Johnny Paycheck was a bass player.
Yep.
Just putting that out
when
there.
When you go to a
Take
concert,
this job
what
and shove
you're
it.
feeling is the bass. Right. And so what makes you move is the bass.
They don't stand out normally unless they hit a wrong note.
I'm
That's
a bass
right.
player.
Then,
That's right. Nominated for a Grammy for bass playing.
Yeah.
But you play them all, though, don't
Yeah, but bass was my go-to. That was my go-to. I
was forced into it.
But you loved it, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Because you play fiddle, too. I bet you loved it.
Yep.
It's real. Well, we could really go deep on bass, but to me, it's the most important part of the band because it steers the whole.
It's really important.
It's like kind of the rudder, like it steers the whole boat. The drummer's doing what the drummer does, which is usually one thing. Like certain drummers play a certain way, a certain thing really good. The bass player is the guy that kind of moves them down the road and keeps it.
Does he get paid less?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. He gets the least amount of respect. But you think about a rock band like The Who, Do you know who the bass player is?
No,
John Entwistle, but nobody would know that. Like, but they know Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend and from back in that day.
If the guitar player messes up,
Bass player for
covers
you
it up.
too? Nobody knows.
But if the bass player messes up, man, everybody knows. Everybody knows immediately if you hit the wrong note on the bass.
I have a great bass player story. It's a quick one.
Go ahead.
So years ago, do you remember an old singer used to have a TV show by the name of Mac Davis? He had a song called "I Believe in Music." Happiness is Lubbock, Texas, in my rearview mirror. Big country artist. He wrote "In the Ghetto" for Elvis Presley.
Oh, wow.
Famous songwriter. So one of my first gigs as a bass player, I got to fill in as a sub for Mac Davis's band. The bass player got sick, so I had to learn 15 songs overnight for this gig in Reno at the big showroom.
Right.
Is that hard?
Yeah. Overnight. And it was the old days, like you had to write it out. You couldn't. And it was record players. You couldn't just listen to it on an MP3 and scan it back
Pull
to
up
where
the chart on your
Yeah,
phone.
yeah. And so the first night I'm playing a gig and show goes off, just a packed house, and playing one of his big hits. And right in the middle of the first chorus, I hit the wrong note. So that's how important a bass player is. If you hit one wrong note and it rubs the wrong way, you hear it. You know it, right? You know when the bass player,
Because everybody's going to turn and look.
it's like a fart in a bathtub. It's like that's not good. Basically, Mac Davis stopped the band, and you know what he said on the microphone in front of all those people. I'm like 19 years old. He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new bass player in the band tonight. Jeffrey Steele's with us." Oh my God! And they put a big spotlight on me. They stopped the song. I mean, you talk about
He went full Bill Belichick.
oh my God! But I never screwed up again on the bass. I'll tell you.
We have this thing whenever we're playing, if we're playing a live show and one of us messes up, we'll wait a few notes, a few bars, but we're required.
Because you don't want the crowd to. Sometimes you mess up, and the crowd, you might get it by the crowd, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's so bad, and it's like, well, they know what happened with that.
There's no hiding
But
it.
sometimes you can be like, man, you just went to the wrong chord.
But especially with our cousin Dustin, who plays bass whenever I play fiddle. We played music with him our whole life. We have so much fun when we're on the road.
Yeah.
But especially between us three, if one of us messes up, we hear it, and lots of times the crowd won't. But we all, whoever messes up, the two that didn't mess up, look at each other. We look at the person who messes up, and you're required to raise your hand. That's
You
how
gotta do it
goes.
like
You
nonchalant, like
like-
be playing and be like,
Yep, you're required to raise your
I know
hand.
it. Because if
Unlike James Brown, who used to just go, he just 50, 50.
Is that a fine or?
The fine. He'd be in the middle like, I feel good, 50.
hey, that's a good idea.
Right? And,
Good idea.
and they would know, man. They would know. Everybody would know. Oh man, I'm gonna losing half my paycheck tonight.
End up owing him money.
And that's why they were so tight all the time.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Yeah, it's fun, man.
They don't have enough of that going on anymore.
We got another song?
Yes, sir.
Come on,
Oh,
Will.
awesome. Let's do it.
All right.
She's a small town talk they're talking about. Crazy steps in when she steps out on Friday. And she's a heartache. She's gonna light the night up and cross the line. You better hold on tight when she unwinds the rain. And no, you can't contain her. She's a barn burner, hate and turner, showstopper. She couldn't get hotter. She's a flamethrower. Game over, can't miss her. And a dynamite kisser. She's all fired up and she's ready to go. My baby, she's a barn burner. She's a wild west wind in a little red dress. Still, it's gonna be fun and it might be a mess, but worth it. A smoke show circus. She got a face of an angel, but I gotta warn you, she's a fiddle that the devil lost down in Georgia, pure gold. little out of control, yeah. And she's a barn burner, head and turner, showstopper. She couldn't get hotter, she's a flamethrower. Game over, can't miss her, and a dynamite kiss. She's all fired up and she's ready to go. My baby, she's a barn burner. One look, I knew there would be no turning back. So good. I know I ain't ever seen a girl like that. And she's a barn burner, head turner, showstopper. She couldn't get hotter, she's a flamethrower. Game over, I can't miss her, and a dynamite kisser. She's a barn burner, head turner, showstopper. She couldn't get hotter, she's a flamethrower. Game over, I can't miss her, and a dynamite kisser. She's all fired up and she's ready to go. That girl's all fired up and she's ready to go. My baby, she's a barn burner.
Is that an original?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
That's a fun song.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna date myself, but Jeff will know that's like the country brick house from the Commodores.
She's a brick.
House. Barn burner. That's like the country boys would say.
She's my
Barn, yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to describe it.
Appreciate that.
Party
that's
song,
a
man.
fun song.
Thanks, man.
That's it's because it just for those of us that grew up listening to a lot of R&B and all that, they've taken all the fun out of it. It's
They
so
have.
profane and so just over the top.
Well, you know what, too, and might be just me. You guys might be able to relate to this, but the melody is gone too. It's not as melodic. Like when you hear a Stevie Wonder song, or like anything the Commodores did back then. Or I mean, you could pick a million bands, but there was more melody and less rhythm, like algorithm. You know what I mean? Like it seems to be commonplace now, but it all swings.
And that's it swung because and I'm about to and hopefully I'm not gonna talk about someone you guys don't like or think is too commercial
go,
or whatever.
go.
But
We love everything
good.
except no.
Morgan Wallen's got this song "Smile" that I listened to. I was like, man, this is what the R&B dudes used to sing. And now
That's what it
country
reminds
music
me
dude
of.
is doing it.
Yeah, they're
And
doing
I'm
it
like,
in country
what?
music.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Morgan, I got to go to Morgan Wallen to hear
To get that
soulful,
to get that thing. Yeah,
melodic.
Yeah.
And again, I'm dating you guys are too young, but there was a group called Belle Biv DeVoe. They came out of
What's
they came out of New Edition or no?
Oh,
did
they had a
come
great
out
song. What was the name of the song?
Poison?
Oh,
They had
that
Poison.
girl is poison.
yeah.
Oh, what a
They
bass
had-
line in that song.
They had a song, a soulful song. When will I see you smile again? And I'm like, this is Morgan Wallen is tapping in.
They're tapping
to
into that vibe. Yeah,
and
it's
that's-
amazing to me.
Yes,
It's amazing to me that country music has kind of pulled all that in now, and it's not just Morgan. There's other artists that
Yeah.
are kind of copping that sort of a vibe too. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, good music's good music, man.
It is. But it's funny how the genres, and again, all the music is American. You know what I mean? In our 250 plus years, all of the cultures, we have created all these amazing genres of music.
I want to go a cut deeper though. Jeff.
Okay, but I just mean how they're crossbreeding now.
But I'm about to say something that's kind of provocative. But
Okay.
and this is deep, and this may be a better conversation just
Okay.
for me and you. But soulful music is a reflection of people speaking out against their pain or feelings of being mistreated. That's where great art comes from. It
Yep.
generally comes from pain. And and I think way too much because that's
No,
how
it's truth though. That's the truth.
and it's a reflection of like the reason why Morgan Wallen and country music are singing the most soulful songs is because, and we just got to be real, there is an oppression directed at young white guys and just white men.
Yeah.
That they're getting it out in the music.
Yeah.
And so when literally these young guys, they're singing True Colors because they're like, man, everybody's trying to tell me I'm not supposed to love America and that I'm crazy for sticking to my Christian values and blah, blah. And so you start coming up with songs that kind of, man, I want to push back against that. And
it's true. I mean, that's true. That's
all the soul is coming from white guys. And it used to be coming from black guys, and it's a reflection of how the culture has flipped. There's so much hostility towards white guys.
That's an amazing statement. It really is. I mean,
factual, man. It's because
but it's true. If you look at the other genres of music, you just kind of go, there's nothing going on. There's nothing.
They're singing about gold chains and
Yeah.
buying cars.
Yeah.
And that's if you can sing about that and that fills you up, you must be living real good. Seriously.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're
it's
right.
like if you wake up every day thinking about, man, how can I get a new gold chain? It's like you're not oppressed. And so
it's true that all the greatest music comes out of the soul and out of the heart and out of the pain, the struggle. And then the rest of it is the industry. The industry goes, that's working. Let's get 10 more of those. And they go out and find 10 people that look like that person or maybe sound like that person and then, create the sound around them.
But that is what it's like what I'm seeing from Morgan and the success that he's having. That's hopeful for you guys because it's just inching you closer and closer to your direction. Right. Even though he's not doing Jason Aldean, but he's pushing you over to window and giving you all space to try that in a small town. True Colors, Am I the Only One, Revelation, and eventually this machine's going to have to catch up because they're not going to keep letting y'all put out these songs that make money and not profit off of it.
Eventually they see the green in it and they're like, we gotta get behind this. This isn't that bad. And it turns into that after a while.
And so I mean, like if you really, and this is the song this is one of the funnest songs that I've heard in the last year. This Cuckoo song. And when I heard Jeff sing it live a year ago, it was just think, first time you hear a song, it's live. Now, for the average fan, for you guys, this probably happens all the time because you understand music at a deeper level. But for me, I've never heard a song the first time live and felt it and really got it unless I was in church. Right. But to be at 3rd and Lindsley and Jeff singing some song I've never heard of, and I go, man, that's fun. And Cuckoo has a point to it as well. It
was definitely written for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a blue collar anthem, and it's basically a very simple song that talks about how crazy we're all going looking at the world right now, and just try to day to day hold on to a paycheck and a family and a life. Just trying to hold your own in a world where they're taking everything away from you. But the cool part about it is we talked about earlier when you're writing a song. I was with Steven and another songwriter named Travis Meadows that day, and we had already written 2 songs. And it was 5:00 in the afternoon, and we were putting our guitars back in the cases, getting ready to get a hamburger, And I asked Travis, who's missing a leg. I don't know if you know Travis. He wrote that song "Riser" for Dierks Bentley. Great songwriter, great guy. Anyway, he's missing a leg from a cancer operation he had, and he's got a prosthetic. So I hadn't seen him in a while. I said, man, I said, Travis, how you doing, buddy? And I've been having some really bad back pain. And I said, oh, that's too bad. I go, but how you doing otherwise? He goes, bank owns the house, bank owns the land. It's the first thing he talked to me in verse, song you guys know, right? And I looked back at him and I said, boss owns the truck and the hammer in my hand. And Stephen Wilson turns around and he goes, "We are not writing a third song. If we did, that would be Cuckoo." And I looked at Travis. I said, "Let's write a song called Cuckoo." And then we just started belly laughing. And you know this too, as songwriters, like there's that time you're in the room and you're making it up and you know you're making it up and you're trying to make the rhymes work. Right. And then there's those times when you're just laughing and you don't know what's going on. You're not thinking hit song or money, or you're just laughing and having fun doing it, and all of a sudden you realize you have this song came out. It just like fell out of the sky. Yeah. Like, what did we just do? And by 7:30, we went and got a hamburger, and we had a third song that was the best song of the day. That's awesome. Ends up making the record.
Have y'all heard it?
No, I'd love to hear it.
It's wacky. Should I play it?
Of course.
I need like 2 minutes to retune my.
Yeah.
Bank owns a house, bank owns the land. Boss owns a truck and the hammer in my hand. X got the kids, half of my check, other half goes to the IRS. Cuckoo! Beers on the hood, trucks on the blocks. Carburetor parts still sitting in the box. Wrenching that wrench, stripping that bolt, busting up a knuckle, about to make a man go cuckoo. Life keeps breaking me, taking me, shaking me, and making me damn near crazy as a loon. Cuckoo. I've been here, out there, out, pulling my hair out, burned out a little too soon. Gunning that race, running from a train, chasing that carrot on a pole. One more thing in a long line of things I can't control. Cuckoo. Doc says hi, gives me a pill, shoots me a shot, then he sends me the bill. Life is a road and they're both uphill. If one don't get you, then the other one will. Cuckoo! Life keeps shaking me, breaking me, taking me, making me damn near crazy as a loon. Cuckoo! I've been here, out there, out, pulling my hair out, burned out a little too soon. Gunning that race, running from a train, chasing that carrot on a pole. One more thing in a long line of things I can't control. Cuckoo! Sun goes up, sun goes down. We're all gonna be 6 feet in the ground. Sun goes up, sun goes down. We're all gonna be 6 feet in the ground. Sun goes up, sun goes down. We're all gonna be 6 feet in the ground. Don't know much, tell you what I do. Sooner or later we all gonna go cuckoo. Life keep taking me, shaking me, breaking me, making me damn near crazy as a loon. Cuckoo. I've been here, out there, out, pulling my hair out, burned out a little too soon. Gunning that race, running from a train, chasing that carrot on a pole. One more thing in a long line of things I can't control. One more thing in a long line of things I can't control. One more thing in a long line of things I can't control. Cuckoo!
That's awesome. Man, that's awesome.
I need to lay down.
Man, that's killer. I love
That's
that.
a head rush.
That is awesome.
That's a fun
That's
song.
good.
And I'm just having fun. Like, you got to hear Stephen Wilson do it. I don't know if you guys have heard his record, but he's pretty phenomenal and pretty great guitar player. And awesome. It was so much fun writing that song.
That's killer, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta, and what Jeffrey just did is amazing. You got to see him do it
With the
on
band?
stage.
With the band,
With the
yeah.
band.
Oh, yeah.
It's all fired up. What I haven't, because we didn't talk about this beforehand. Didn't know that, you know, I was gonna be asking to do this.
It's all good.
But it's an amazing song.
Man, that's cool.
Get you fired up
fun.
when you're on
I'd
your
love to hear that with the band.
yeah.
That's
Oh man,
entertaining
it
as heck
rocks.
right there.
It rocks.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, we would have heard it May 2nd or 3rd, but
Oh man.
somehow
So
He's sticking the butter
What's
knife
the
in.
story behind this?
What's going on?
It's the butter knife.
Oh man.
What's going on with me?
Yeah.
Well,
other engagements. He's a
I'm
diva.
booked- I'm booked at a.
So he's got something better.
I'm on
to
a
do. Is that what
festival.
Yeah.
You don't want to hang out with us anymore. You
Yeah.
want to go do something
Oh
else.
man.
Is that it?
Yeah, but thankfully, Jordan and Seth are going to be there Saturday night
Yeah.
at Lee and
Are they at
Julian B.
at the
Saturday night with Lee and they're going to perform a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
at
yeah.
Lee and Julie Beeman's house Saturday night. Our VIP event at Roll Call.
You do it Friday and Saturday,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
It's gonna
Friday night, Saturday during the day,
It's gonna
and then
be
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're
It's my heart's broken, you know.
yeah.
that, so.
It's. We're so fired up about Tucker's involvement. And
Yeah.
Jen-
And last year was so amazing just to see the event go down. Like to see everybody was just loving it.
yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like I talked to people that were in the crowd, and a buddy of mine came down to videotape some of it. He was just mesmerized, and it's going to be amazing.
We've heard great things.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're fired up. Particularly, there's a minister, several ministers coming in for the Saturday event, but there's a minister coming in from Chicago that we went to college together at Ball State University at the same time. Knew each other vaguely at Ball State, but have reconnected again because he's got a massive church in the inner city of Chicago, in one of the roughest neighborhoods in Chicago. But man, he's hardcore MAGA. He's got a flock that's following him. He spoke at the RNC this past year, and it's just so funny. Two black guys from Ball State, me in the sports media world, him in the ministry world, and we landed in the same place.
Wow.
And we're just trying to live out our faith, and we both come from working class backgrounds, and that's I look at so many guys that come from my background that somehow feel like they can't relate to MAGA. And I'm just like, don't you get, we are MAGA. Your parents were factory workers just like mine. And, these manufacturing jobs that they've taken, like where I grew up in Indianapolis, it was a very nice working class neighborhood community or whatever. And because we had a Western Electric plant, an RCA plant. We had these great manufacturers that propped up the whole east side of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
They're all in Mexico or someplace else now. And my former community is one of the roughest places. The far east side of Indianapolis. It's just been devastated. All the jobs moved and, all the families moved. And I'll never forget when Trump's 2016 inauguration speech. It's one of the greatest speeches I've ever heard. And I can remember I was calling my family and friends and was like, hey, man, Trump's talking about us. He's talking about these manufacturing jobs and how we grew up. My dad owned a bar in the inner city, and it just catered to factory workers. It was like a black Cheers for working class people. Yeah. After their bowling league would come in, have some beer, have some Hennessy or whatever, and it's like I've seen all this get destroyed because we're not America first. And so it's when I moved here to Tennessee in 2020, it just felt like, wow, I'm finally around people that, because I've been living out in LA for 10 years, and I'm living out there surrounded by hardcore leftists and people that thought like me were crazy. But coming here and then the other thing, I'm just rambling and going on.
No, it gets me deep thinking too.
It's Jeff. So many people like Jeff and Steve Ford that owns Losers and Ron Bice that runs Third and Lindley. Everywhere I've gone, people have treated me unbelievable. It's like we instantly become best friends, and how can I help you? And it's,
it's people doing good for other people, and that's kind of their motivator. It's just like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, and so it's this Friday deal at Third and Lindley. Ron Bice and his team have just hopped on board. Anything they can do.
One of the greats.
Yeah,
He's one of the greats.
Lee Beeman, Julie Beeman. Anything Jason, we'll have it here at our house. We'll do this, we'll do that. Oh, we're gonna call the Jordan and Seth, and we'll get them to come on Saturday. It's anything they can do to help.
Yeah.
This is, and that's why I get my goal with Roll Call. I don't know if you guys, I was showing you guys these postcards and flyers, but I want Tennessee to be known as the Harmony State.
Yeah.
That we
Makes
do.
sense.
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense.
We do harmony better than anybody.
Absolutely.
So I'm just
That's great.
so thrilled you guys are participating. Yeah.
We're honored to be a part.
So honored.
Thanks so much,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. And so anything we can do to help promote you and support you, and we're just going to try to do. So
Really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
The Duggar Band, Jordan and
Duggar
Seth.
Band.
Thanks
Good
for
for-
having us, guys.
Is it a rap?
Hey, it's great first guest, don't you think? I don't.
Bring your own guitar, oh buddy. Bring your own guitar. We'll laugh and dance and drink and sing. Just bring your own guitar. Right?
Hey,
And you
there
did.
go.
And fiddle.
Yeah, bring your own fiddle. BYOF.
That's it for us. Great job. We'll see you next time.
Bring your own guitar, oh buddy. Bring your old guitar. We'll talk and drink and laugh and sing, but bring your own guitar.